together for a long time, got to fly together, and we got to fly together in Iraq. Now I'm going to tell a little story, and that's not going to be a DFC type story, but it's going to be more of a fun story. It's going to be short. So JD and I were the first two guys to go into Toledo, ever. First fighter aircraft to land on an enemy airfield since World War II. So it's quite the thing. So we had an early morning launch, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and before we went to Toledo, we had to go do a mission. Okay, so we get out there, and when we went to Toledo, this was bare base, sleeping on a cot, sleeping on a floor, nothing. So all we could do, we had a travel pod, big travel pod, had lots of room, but they said you could take a flight suit and a toothbrush. So obviously left a lot of room in that travel pod. So as we're pre-flighting the jets, a couple vans pull up and they start carrying stuff to our jet. And I'm like, what is this? We look, and box of lobster, there's some baked potatoes, there's some steaks, all the fixings. Now, George Benefield says as you get older, you start to embellish the stories. So I did this a little bit reverse. So what I had thought all the time was General Franks was the commander for the entire war air campaign. And my theory was, and when I told the story before, I said General Franks is the one who arranged all this. Really, George is the one who arranged this. Now, I still have to embellish the story, right? So, if you ever seen George's uniform, which he doesn't have on today, his ribbons go all the way back. So I'm just saying that some Mexican general authorized this steak, lobster, baked potato, charcoal. So that's my new change. Anyways, we take off. We're flying to Baghdad, or we're flying up north. We've never been to Baghdad. They call us on the radio, hey, you're going to such and such box we had. And we look at it, and it's Baghdad. First guy's up in Baghdad that morning. And they have us, we talk to the Army, they have us going after the airfield, the Baghdad International Airport. Okay, they have some artillery pieces, talking to Special Forces, have some artillery pieces that are harassing them, so they want us to take them out. Okay, so we fly up there on the lead, JD's number 2, we fly up there, said JD stay high, I'll go down, I'll start searching for this artillery piece. So I circle down. Now if you know JD, he's a pretty calm fellow, right? Never gets excited at all. Now this will come into play in a little bit. So, circle around, all of a sudden JD goes in about a normal voice, you brake right, missile right, 3 o'clock. Brake out, I turn right, the missile comes up, corkscrew, shoulder launch, one dude shooting at us. Missed it, no problem. I said, thanks JD, you know. I said, you stay up there, you're doing a good job, I'm gonna go back down, I'm gonna continue to do this. So I go back down, circle around, all of a sudden, I've never heard his voice with a higher pitch, but he had high pitch this time. Brake right, missile right, 4 o'clock. I brake, and now this one's close, right? This one's close, doesn't hit me. Brake right, and it avoids me. I'm like, good job, JD. I go, did you see where that came from? He goes, I got it exactly. I said, cleared hot. So one single guy with the shoulder launch, he loads 500 rounds of 30 miller on this dude's head. The whole block was just devastated. But he did a good job. So I go down, start to do it again. He calls bingo. So we go back and we land at Toledo. First fighters ever to land at Toledo. First guys at Toledo. Sighting mission, kinda. You know, we didn't really do anything, but we got to avoid some missiles. We land right next to each other. I walk out of the jet and I walk over to JD and I put my hand down and I go, JD, thanks for saving my life. He goes, as clear as you can hear. He goes, I didn't care about that. I didn't want my lobster shot down.
Exactly right.
So that's my JD story, and I'm honored to be able to give you this award. And like I said, it's been a long time in the works. And our squadron has had 12, I believe, guys, DFCs. This will make it 14. And I believe, I don't know, but I think that's probably the most in the Air Force. I don't know. We'd have to look that up, but it just shows you what kind of dedication, what kind of squadron we had at that time. Probably the best in the world, I think. So.
Thank you. It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce Michigan's Congressman, the Honorable Tim Walberg, in Michigan's 5th Congressional District. Sir, please come up and your remarks if you'd like.
Well, General, I was getting excited when you talked about you landing, being the first to land at enemy base, and you said Toledo. And I was, getting excited about that being a Michiganian and got this Ohio guy here. But then
We can all
I thought,
vouch.
no, it's Toledo. So that kind of took my interest away until you got back to lobsters. Well, it's a privilege to be here today, and thank you all for being here as well. This is a unique opportunity, a special opportunity for a member of Congress to have a constituent to receive this type of honor, Distinguished Flying Cross with Valor, and to have the team here, the wife and the husband, and that is a team in the process. Lieutenant Colonel Van Havel served more than 20 years in the Air Force and the Michigan Air National Guard as an A-10 Warthog pilot. We lost the Warthog from Battle Creek in my district, and we regret that to this point, but it was something that was special for us. And when we talked to Marines and soldiers, Army soldiers, they appreciated the Warthog. That to hear that sound and see it coming over a hill, they knew they were going to be protected. Today we pause to thank him for serving during one of the most pivotal and challenging moments in recent history, Operation Iraqi Freedom. He courageously served our nation with unwavering resolve, helping to defend the freedoms we all hold dear. As you'll hear later, Lieutenant Colonel Van Havel went above and beyond the call of duty, selflessly volunteering to enter enemy range to ensure that our forces could complete their mission without harm during the invasion. Thank you for showing us what it means to put others before self and inspiring us all. May we never take your service for granted, and may your story continue to remind us of the price of peace and the heroes among us who have paid it. On behalf of a grateful nation, a grateful district, a grateful state, I'm proud to present you with a congressional proclamation to honor you for your courage, devotion, and commitment to service. I'm not sure where that proclamation is.
We have it.
I know in the process of what goes on today, you'll have a chance to claim that, but thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Wahlberg. Lieutenant Colonel Van Havel, please come forward and join Brigadier General Wilson and the Congressman, please. We will now begin the ceremony of an awards presentation. Guests, please rise. Attention to orders. Major Jeffrey Van Havel distinguished himself by heroism in aerial flight while engaged in military operations against an enemy of the United States as an A-10 pilot, 172nd Expeditionary Fighter Squadron, 332nd Expeditionary Operations Group, 332nd Air Expeditionary Wing at Ahmed El Jaber Air Base, Kuwait on 26 March 2003. On that date, Major Van Havel displayed uncommon heroism, tactical skill, and valor in the face of a hostile enemy, while providing close air support for the 3rd Infantry Division in a battle near Ajaf, Iraq. Once airborne, Major Van Havel was to search and destroy enemy armored infantry in support of a single M1A2 tank and a single M113 armored personnel carrier from the 3rd of the 69th Armored Battalion, sent 20 kilometers north of the brigade's main battle area towards Karbala, Iraq. Without artillery or rotary wing fire support, these 2 armored vehicles were to relieve a Special Forces team whose position was compromised as 2 brigades of the Medina Division of the Special Republican Guard entered Karbala. As Major Van Havel ingressed, 2 radar-guided SA-2 surface-to-air missiles launched and guided on his flight lead. Major Van Havel expertly directed his flight lead, who did not see the missiles, to expend countermeasures and execute the required defensive maneuvering. Major Van Havel selflessly followed his flight lead through the aggressive maneuvering, exposing himself further to the SA-2. While keeping sight of both missiles and his flight lead, he directed further countermaneuvers, resulting in both missiles missing. Major Van Havel's formation assessed their fuel state, agreeing they could not wait for suppression of enemy air defense asset aircraft to escort their mission. Without this needed escort for survivability, Major Van Havel selflessly and heroically chose to join the attack inside the heart of the SA-2 lethal range, resulting in a hit. Assuming more lethal exposure without the escort, well within the SA-2 range, Major Van Havel continued locating and skillfully attacking 5 more enemy positions, employing 4 Mark 82 low-drag bombs and the GAU-8 30mm Gatling gun. As a result of saving the life of his flight lead from 2 SA-2 missiles, heroically attacking the SA-2 site and superbly executing 5 unescorted attacks on the enemy targets, our 3rd of the 69th Armored Battalion continued unharmed to the Special Forces team. The outstanding heroism and selfless devotion to duty displayed by Major Jeffrey Van Havel reflected great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Yes, you may be seated. Senator Fix. Teresa, will you come forward for a couple pictures, please? Thank you. Thank you, members of the board and Teresa.